Hey, badasses. We are back here at the studio. Welcome back to Autism for Badass Moms. I'm your host, Rashida, another badass, and we actually have a wonderful, wonderful show ahead today. We have a special guest. Her name is Tiara, and Tiara is absolutely amazing. She's a military wife. She's a mom of 4 kids. Her oldest child has a diagnosis of autism, and she is going to talk today about self-blame, basically how we get rid of it, because I think all of us moms, we struggle with that during the course of this journey. So I'm not going to take up much time, so I just want to welcome Tiara to the show.
Hello.
So for the audience, we were just talking about like the color purple, and I loved how that flew, the color purple.
Yes.
And so Miss Tiara loves purple.
I do.
Shades of purple.
I do. Smoky purple.
Smoky purple. That's the new one, guys. Smoky
Yes.
purple. And so let's start off with your journey. You have 4 kids.
4.
I feel
Boys.
you. I'm with boys.
All boys.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What a journey.
I know. There was supposed to be a girl somewhere, but it just never happened.
Oh, okay. So tell me about your oldest son, the diagnosis, how that was for you.
Okay, so Titus is our oldest. He's 7. He was diagnosed around 2 to 2.5 years of age.
Okay.
I'll just be honest, autism, I didn't even know really it was a word or anything because it just never, it doesn't run in our family or anything. So, and he had his little quirks, but I was just like, whatever, you like to jump. You're going to have nice calves. That's just what I thought. And we went to go get him started in a Head Start. And they were just like, maybe your son has autism. And I was like after it was weird. Okay, so backtrack. First, we put him in speech therapy because he had to get tubes in his ears. We didn't know that all the ear infections, couldn't hear us. Like they said, you sound like you're underwater to him. So that was already like, all this time, my baby can't hear, type of thing. And then when we went to go get him started in Head Start, they were like, we knew the speech delay, but we're going to bring a specialist in. And I was like, okay. And she came in. She wasn't the nicest because she just straight out the way she handled him. She didn't handle him with care.
Okay.
So after her, she spent like 30 minutes to an hour maybe. And then we had to sit down and she said, just plain out was like, your child has autism. So, he's going to need some special services and he doesn't see you as a person. He sees everybody as objects. Like she doesn't smile. It was just like she went down on a whole list. And I mentally at that point checked out because I was just like in that meeting because it was a lot to tell a parent, and you didn't even deliver it with care.
And you weren't even walking. Again,
I'm just trying to start school. I don't, so I was like, okay. So then I remember I went home and I called my mom. And I just cried. I was like, she says he has autism. He doesn't have autism and he does see me as a person. I'm his mom, he does smile. She was just in there with him. He smiled. I was there, just went down and I just cried because I was like, that's not my child. That's not, were we not in the same room? Because I saw different.
And also her delivery.
Her delivery was foul. No, I don't even know if she's still in the school district. It was horrible.
Okay.
So then I was like, if this is the thing, we're going to find out from the best. I want to know who the best doctor is in DFW. We did the research and my husband found Dr. Charles Rios.
Okay.
Come to find out he's one of the top doctors.
Okay.
And he was like a big kid, just like a big giant kid who came in and he took Titus and we went and he evaluated Titus, played with him. We were there for over 2 hours and it was 4 different sessions of just of work, just trying to watch and see who your child is, not just say, an hour.
So a very, very thorough evaluation.
Very thorough.
Okay.
And he said it and he was like, just to let you know, he was like, he does have autism, but it's not a bad thing. He was like, and he broke down what autism was and, different levels of it and everything like that. And he was just like, it's not a bad thing. This isn't a bad thing. These are some of the smartest kids. And I was like, okay. But inside, I was like, if he had only gotten ear tubes earlier, he could have heard us. And to me, I was like, maybe that's why he has autism, or is it because it was a pretty painful pregnancy? Is it because of the medicine I took? Like, I was Googling medicine, like, does this cause autism? Because again, it doesn't run in our family.
Now, when it hit you, again, kudos to Dr. Rios, because again, a lot of doctors don't have that kind of bedside manner where it's just, and also saying like, but it's not a bad thing, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
some doctors like will tell you, well, they won't be able to do this, they won't be able to X, Y, and Z. But what was that like for you, just hearing autism, not knowing?
Like, it broke my heart, because sadly, the world that we live in right now, anybody who is not like you and doesn't do what you do, doesn't laugh at things that you laugh at, or anything that anybody who's different is treated horribly.
Yeah.
And it's all because people don't understand diagnoses or anything. So I was completely heartbroken. Like, you would have thought, because it was like, sad to say, at that time, it was like my child. It's almost like you just took my child from me, because all I thought of was like the worst of it. I didn't even bother to think of anything positive. And I was like, but he's never going to get married. He's never, like, I had a whole list. It was a lot of like blame, and I blamed myself so much, like just so much. I was like, this is my fault. Like, no matter which way anybody put it or try, it's my fault. And my family, they didn't know what to say, really, because it was like, this is our Titus. This is we call him King Titus. This is our King Titus. And we don't, like, we're all at a crossroad where we don't know, like, what to do and where to get help or anything like that. And then, like, my husband, he was just like, no, this, you're going to have time. You can process this however you feel, however you want, but this doesn't change him. And this, you're not to blame, because you can't, there's nothing that says, hey, you took Tylenol, your child your child will have autism. I know there's studies out there right now, but like, there's nothing that's just, you can't just, it's just.
Now, did you verbalize what your thoughts were of, maybe it was me, maybe I didn't do this, to your family? Or were you, I would say, suffering in silence?
There was a lot of suffering in silence, but probably majority suffering in silence. My husband knew, like, because he knows me. He knew that I was like, and I would try to bring it up, but he had like no tolerance for it. He was like, no. Like, he was almost like, we're going to shut that down. But I'm still inside, like, it wasn't until like even a couple years ago, I was just like, it's my fault. Like, and you could tell I blamed myself in my actions, like in how I moved with him, because it was almost like I was trying to make up for it. Like, this is my fault. So it was like I was giving into whatever he wanted, whatever, Titus wanted, whatever, however he wanted to be. It's okay. It's my fault. Like, that's how I was inside with myself. It was like, it's my fault. So if he wants to run across this room and tear it up, it's okay. It's okay. He has autism and it's my fault. Like, even when he would get sick, it's my fault. And I actually find that I do that, like, not just with him, but with our other son who has sickle cell. Like, I take him to the hospital. I went down, I was crying, blaming myself as I'm checking him in, because I didn't know I had sickle cell. My husband didn't know, like,
wow.
Like, so, and I find that, like, with both of them, I do that.
Okay.
And, did that, but it's not healthy. Just, yeah.
And that's, a lot of moms, again, out there, we do find even if it's just like ridiculous, to say that we are at fault for what's going on with our child.
Yeah.
And, through that process, I know you said your husband, who absolutely amazing, was just kind of like, again, shutting it down and just like, no, this is who he is. But it still didn't resonate with you.
It didn't at all. It wasn't until, like, it's almost like I had a come to Jesus meeting with myself. And I had a close friend back home who was like, nobody's going to teach your baby but you. Nobody's going to love him. Nobody's going to do for him and provide for him in any area but you. That is your responsibility. And it was like, it is that. And it was almost like okay, I may feel, even if now I like see something, and if I notice like he can't do something quite well, I'm like, and I find myself wanting to go back and blame. It's like, nope, I'm your mother. It's my job to make sure. So I will invest as much time as I wanted to invest in crying and doing self-pity. I'm going to take that, double it back, and invest it in you.
That's absolutely I love that.
And I'm going to put that much energy in you and making sure that I gave you all the skills, all the setup to do whatever it is that you want to do. And whatever it is I want you to do. Like, I want you to do sports. I want you to, like, just be with other children. And I want other children to accept you for who you are and not, So to do that, okay, one step by step. Like, for instance, he used to, like, in the beginning, he was very, we didn't know what was setting off the, like, sensory overload of anything. Okay. So I made sure, like, what is it? Do you not like loud noises? Noises don't bother you. Great. It's all I think you can hear everybody's conversation in a room. So my thing is like, headphones. Let's go. Let's get these headphones. You can still hear me. I'm like, Titus, because I don't want you to ignore me. I need you to ignore anybody around you. I need you to hear me. So we did that. It was like, okay, you like to jump and stem. Trampolines, one outside, one inside, and then we realized the people underneath us probably were going to kill us because he would just get to just excited about it. So, but like, it's just like, what do you like? You like keychains. You're calm with your keychain. Let's buy. I spent so much money on keychains, and I still do. I don't care how much the keychain is. Let me help set you up for success, because I notice when I do that, like, the smile on his face is like, it's almost like, you understand me. Like, hey, you get that this is helpful for me, and then you're able to do other stuff, which makes him happy, because he's like, to see his face light up when he's at school and he's playing with all the friends, and they're not scared because he's not screaming or crying, because we know you just need a good set of headphones and you're good.
Yeah.
You're not, so they're not scared of you and scared of how you may react. So they're willing to play with you, and they're like, come on, Titus. So many people know him at school in older grades, and of course the girls, and I'm like, okay, first off, he doesn't care about any of y'all little girls, but like, he's just like, hi. But it's just like amazing, because the first year there, like, when I wasn't truly invested in, I was still like figuring out life and what it would be like for him, like thinking so far in the future that I was missing out on the present with him.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't the greatest for him, because that was coming off like through me on him, and I wasn't setting him up to just have the best life. And I really, like, nope, you are here now. And it's my job to make sure that now, today, every day, like, it's your best life. No, and I don't see him with a kid with autism. I don't. Like, yes, I know. And when we go places, I don't tell people, because people judge. And I'll tell you if you need to know, but And
I mean, what is that going to do, right? Like, what is the purpose?
It's not going to. He can tell you if something's hurting him. He can speak to you. The only thing I tell people is like, oh yeah, he may go get up and stem for a second in the corner, which is jumping up and down for him, and he'll come back and sit down. I was like, he's fine, but I don't need to give you like a manual on, here's my child with autism. This is what you should do in this situation. That's not what we're doing here.
This is like a side note, thinking about when our kids stem and how people get so like, over involved, and oh my gosh, what does that mean? And people don't realize, again, that it is for them to soothe themselves. But we all have those behaviors.
We do.
Me, I'm, telling myself, I'm my hands. Like, I'm just like, that's trying to soothe myself. Some people do, other things.
I leg shake. If this leg was not sitting over this leg would just be leg shaking.
Right. Some people like take their hair and they just have to, so we have to really look at our judgments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't judge anybody, because to me, I'm just like, no. I'm not going to sit here and judge off of, especially not a child. And that's a thing. Like, I will say, raising Titus has taught me that, like, when I go in the store, when I hear children screaming and crying, it doesn't register. It's a tantrum. I automatically look, like, if they're next to me in line, I'm just observing everything, like, wondering if this is probably not a tantrum, and maybe it could be like just they don't understand what's going on right now because of autism. Like, it has so many different faces. And so therefore, like, the simple, like, what bothers other people doesn't bother me.
Right.
Your child probably in an airport coming next to me and rubbing my leg and going back and rubbing my leg wouldn't bother me. Titus used to stroke soft fabric on people, and I used to say, I'm so sorry. Sorry. He likes the way your fabric feels.
That's all.
That's it. Yeah. It's, but he used to stroke people, and I'm just, those things don't bother me. And I think if people would just, as much as we spend on our phones and in our phones, do some research on, look up random diagnoses and see what those are like, because I guarantee we're all not made perfect. And there's nothing to say that those with autism are the off ones and we're the perfect ones.
Right.
At all.
I love that.
I would just look. There's always something going on with somebody. And with kids with autism, they're fun. They're fun. They are so smart.
Yes.
Crazy smart. The fact that Titus can sit here and you can start a song on your phone within 2 seconds, whether he never heard it or not, he knows the beat. And he can, I'm just I can't even remember where I'm going. How do you even?
There's just so many, and the giftedness. We had a mom on who talked about her son who's so interested in trains, and he can figure out how to get from one state to another by just looking at a map. Just
I need
incredible.
him in my life. I get lost everywhere.
I need him too.
It's can I have you,
please? Was there a pivotal moment where it just kind of clicked for you that, you know what, I'm just accepting this for what this is, and I'm going to not be hard on myself?
I was probably around when he first started, our second year into ABA therapy. His ABA therapist was sent from above. I love her. I still keep in contact with her. I love her. But she was just and I don't think they know, they're almost therapists in a way when they talk to parents.
Yeah.
When you find ones that truly care about your child. Because she was talking to me, and she was giving me insight on autism and, more insight, because she went to school to be a therapist for it. So, and telling me, and she was just if I mapped your son out, he's going to be okay. Even if he never decided to never be verbal and but could do for himself, I said, I just don't want him to be lost in this world and not know who I am or not know how to call me. Or she's like, he knows your name. He's going to be okay. He'll always find you. And I was just she was like, what you're doing fine. You're doing more than most parents are doing. And she was like, little do you know. And I thought I'm just barely scraping by with him. I'm just trying, because, some days are a struggle. And for most days they're great, but there's the days where he's having a hard day. And it's a hard day on me because I don't know how to help him. And it was there was one time where we were in the room and he had a meltdown, the worst meltdown. My husband was and we know he likes compression, so my husband bear hugged him, and,
right,
and he was screaming and crying, and I sat across from him just crying in silence. I felt hopeless, hopeless, to the point, and I told myself, I remember what the therapist said and everything, and I was just you know what, I'll never let myself be this vulnerable. I will never let me be in this same position again where I feel like I can't help him, because I can. I can help him more than a doctor can, more than anybody can, because I'm his mother.
Right.
And that's my job. And that look on his face, because he didn't know how to express it, and I just couldn't. It will. And I remember that look. I still bring it back to the surface every once in a while when, he's having times where I'm just mentally, I feel tapped out, I'm, what in the world? And you add him with his other brothers, it could be a chaos day.
Yeah, it could be a lot.
And and that image always pops up, and it's my reminder to be you said you will never do this again. You will never be in that position again when it comes to Titus. And that's so whatever it is, that image, him crying, me crying, us not knowing what to do is my push to figure it out.
And I think that's great, because you sometimes, again, we do have those moments. When you were sharing yours, I was like, oh, I remember moments. There was one moment where my son actually was aggressive towards me, but he couldn't help it. He couldn't share what he needed. And I remember it was significant, where slap in the face, glasses go across the room. I'm like, whoa, what just happened? And I'm crying.
Yeah.
Crying, feeling helpless in the moment. And I think over the course of time, being moms of a child with autism, you begin to learn your child. I think in the beginning it's like you're just trying to figure out, like, I don't know why my child does X, Y, and Z, and maybe you can tell me why.
You're trying to make something fit.
Yes.
Because that's just how we operate. I think we just like there's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
And with autism, sometimes there's just not. And you're not going to get that answer. There's not going to be a reason. We don't know why you all of a sudden love cheese and now you despise it, and the side of it makes you go and tear up a building. We don't know that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where us as moms, like, it's our child. No, and we have to, no, it's a puzzle piece. And it does not have a matching puzzle to go with it. It is that one piece, that special piece that you're like, I'm going to find it. But you're not going to, because you're not meant to. Because if you could fit your child with autism into a puzzle, into that box, that the puzzle, then there's nothing different about them.
I remember, and again, I think we have these like pivotal people that come into our life to give us what we need in that moment, and especially like validation, and also just to tell us, you're doing all right. Like, what's wrong?
Girl,
like you woke up today, you got out of bed, right? You took a shower,
brushed your teeth.
Yeah, but like I had, a therapist like say that you got this in you have this, you are built for this. And I know that you had mentioned, like in the pre-interview, that God doesn't give us more than we can handle
at all.
And so tell me about that. Like
that's a scripture that I grew up on, and everybody grows. I feel like everybody grows up on that scripture. And there are times where you feel like you're like, okay, Lord, I know you said you're not going to give me more than I can handle. Clearly, you didn't know me at the time that you issued out these loads.
That is so funny.
But I like with Titus, I'm like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a big load. And after a while, like when you say that scripture to yourself over and over, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. He doesn't give you more than you can handle. You're right. Because I can, and it's like a reminder. He's not going to give you more. You may not know how to handle the situation at the time, but it doesn't mean you don't know how to handle it. You just got to use your resources. You have to, it's not just laid out in front. You got to go find it in any situation, even like with, kids being aggressive or, just talking or, just parenting somebody with autism. You have the resources. You have to go find them.
Yeah.
The outfit you buy that you wear to like the wedding dress. It's not like you just woke up and said, "Here's my wedding dress." You had to go find it. You went to many stores. You tried on many dresses. Yeah. The same dress that looked good on the person who came out when you showed up did not look good on you. Like you had to find that perfect dress for you. You're going to find as a parent in general, like that's as a mom, that's huge, but you're going to find what works for you and your child, your parenting, and how you understand your child and how y'all build that connection and become one, literally become one.
Yes. Yeah.
That's something nobody else can tell you go over here, do this with him, do this worked for me. I mean, that's great. Thank you for the nice tips, but your child's different. Your child is not their child. So you have to it's almost like you have to do research with your child. Well, okay, do you like this? No, you don't like this. Do we like this? No, okay. We're not coming back here again because you hate this place. But you like this place, which is the same as that place. You just don't. We don't know what causes someone with autism to have moments. I call them moments because I'm like, I have a moment as an adult. I don't think it's you acting bad no, I have moments, you have moments, we all got moments. Yeah. What causes you to have moments?
Right.
Sitting in traffic. I'll have a whole moment in that car. So
well, we were talking about before this. We were talking about like congestion and like all that.
Yeah. So he's not going to give you more than you can handle. The Lord's just wanting you to go do the research, get in your word, pray. He'll tell you, just pray, talk to him. Because out of everybody we talk to, friends, family, the best person to talk to, I believe, is God. And he can answer your prayers. He'll tell you stuff about your child. And it will not make sense to you, but anything he does not make sense to me. That's how I know it's from the Lord. I'm like, surely this is not from me. And you'll be surprised. Yeah. Like, it's just the right amount of knowledge for the situation. And that's all you need is the right amount of knowledge for that situation.
Yeah, because there was many times I'm just like, and now I'm before I wouldn't vocalize that it was hard because I felt like I should know how to, help my son, and being in, a therapist and stuff. Like why don't I get this? Right? I tell people all the time, you should do X, Y, and Z. And so there was like, that I struggled with for a long time.
Yeah.
But then now I say to him, like, can you give me some help? Like, it's kind of hard, but just send me a few people that
Nudge
can help
me. Throw something in front of me.
Because this behavior is new and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So.
And what I find, like, when Titus has a new behavior, I'll sit back. I'm like, all right, let's reevaluate the whole situation leading up to the behavior. And let's see. And then I'll talk to Titus, whether he understands ever. And I do this with all my kids. Whether they understand right now, we're going to have this grown adult conversation. Why'd you feel that way? What's going on? Well, what changed? And I don't change. I'm like, did it, you know how they say don't talk to a baby like in a baby. Like, talk to them. And I do that with Titus. Whether you understand or not, what's going on? Did something change? And I know he may not understand that question. And I'll break down the question as far down as I need to. But I'm going to start, did something change that I don't know about? Well, what's going on? He'll be like, Titus hurt. Why is Titus hurt? Titus is mad. Okay, Titus, I got all your emotions. What's going on? Show me. Help me. Because it's in there. And I know he is just trying to figure out how to get it out.
Yeah.
And it's, as his mom, my job is to pull it out of you. I'm going to pull out the best in you. I'm going to pull out every conversation. I'm going to pull out every secret. Like, that is our job as moms.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pull it. And I'm just like, all right, let's break down this word combo. Let me show you. Let me throw some stuff. And he'll be like, no, yes. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then I replay it. So what you said is, you're hurt and you don't want to go there because you didn't like the boy over there because he wouldn't play with you. Probably went over his head. But I want you to know that I know what's going on.
And just to take the time, because sometimes,
patience.
The patience.
Yeah.
It
is not one of my. Woo. Yeah.
Because, again, when you have other children, right?
Yeah.
And so trying to tend to the needs, and then you think about the ages and what they need at certain ages. How do you navigate that? So, with Titus and with the other kids.
Yeah. So I will say, when we first started, I was really horrible at everybody give Titus his way.
Okay.
I don't want him to have a moment. And that's back when I wasn't even trying to figure out his moments. I just didn't want to hear them. Like, because they were long. So it was like everybody give, and my mother-in-law was like, well, don't you think it's not fair that the other boys can't watch what they want to watch and they always have to watch what Titus wants to prevent Titus from having an attitude?
Ooh.
And I was like, no, Gigi. And then I was like, all right, so now, fast forward to now. Now, Titus, this is how it's going to go. Everybody pick a number. Like, example, we're going to use movies. Everybody pick a number. He's going to always pick the same number. I force him to go because I know it's going to be wrong. I could play favoritism because I don't want to hear a breakdown and pick his number. But I'm like, my number's always 15. And I tell them that. Hey, y'all, my number's always 15. Everybody pick a number. Nobody picks it. And which is amazing. And they'll go through. He's not first. I'm like, hey, it's Major's turn. Then it's Dallas's turn. Then it's Titus's turn. Then it's Roman's turn. And then I say, pick a movie. He's picking his movie. Like, no, like when the person Major going first picks it. No, he's throwing a fit. I'm like, hey, Major, Dallas, then who? He goes, Titus. And I make him repeat it. We do it that way. So that's what we do when it comes to movies. But when it comes to everything, it's not fair for me as a parent to like almost cater to Titus just because of the autism and neglect my other kids' needs.
Right.
They want to, they want mommy's attention. They want to do this. They want to do that. And it's not fair if Titus doesn't want to do it. We all can't do it. So as raising, teaching Titus and raising him, our household is like, okay, Titus, you are in the same category. Titus, you don't have autism. And we will always speak that. But we're going to treat you like your other brothers. They can't yell at me for no reason and not get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble. I will talk to you.
Right.
I'll ask if you understand. You get the same punishment. Everybody get the same punishments, which are nothing because they're little. But like, no, you can't have your tablet. You didn't have a great day at school. You can't have your tablet. And he understands it. Like, you're in the same category. I can't, if I segregate you from your brothers, I think that's the right word, from your brothers.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to doing stuff because you have autism, so you should, I'm no better than the world.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to treat you like everybody else. You're getting treated like everybody else in this household. So, and that actually helps. It helps in the household and it helps outside the household. Because he's not, like when he goes to school, he's not picked. It's not Titus's way. And he doesn't have meltdowns.
And you're treating him, you know, you're
like, I want them to, everybody else to treat him. How can I ask everybody outside my house to treat him the same? Treat him like he's all these other kids.
Yeah.
And inside the house, I'm just like, it's all about Titus. And I treat him differently. I can't. It's double standards. So no.
And I resonated that with you because there was a period of time where the kids would be arguing, and it was just too loud for him, and we knew that. And then he would start getting worked up, and I was like concerned that, oh my gosh, like the aggression is going to come, something's going to happen. So I'm like, gosh, you got to stop. Like, stop arguing. Like, go into the other room. And so just, and rightfully so, they, you know, the kids can argue. But it was just kind of sending the message that, you know, you're bothering him and you need to go somewhere with that. And it took a while to just kind of come out of that and just be like, well, Max, you're going to just need, this is the real world. And there's going to be moments where people are going to be talking loud and you don't want to put your headphones on. So, you know, this is where we're at right now. And a lot of times when I thought there was going to be a meltdown, there wasn't. Right? Like,
I'm finding that as he's getting older, when I thought this was going to happen, it doesn't.
Never.
So now I'm stuck. I'm having to get myself out of the mind frame of this is good. Like, I'm already seeing the worst out of every situation, and I need to stop doing that because he surprises us every day. We would think that him being separated from his brothers right now would have this boy's had his best life. He misses them. He knows they're separated,
but he's
fine. Him, you know, doing baseball, thought he was gonna have meltdowns because he didn't want to do it. He's fine, and at the end of the day, they're fine. Our kids are fine.
I'm like realizing I'm not fine.
Yeah, I think it's us because we're just like we just want to make sure that we're giving them the best life and that they're going to be successful in any and everything that they do.
Yeah.
And that they're not going to be like picked on or anything. And I think our stress we're putting on our kids. And so it's us. We need to dial it back because they're fine.
Because it's our fear.
It's a fear. And that's not their fear. They're the most fearless kids ever. And it's not fair for us as moms. I mean, but we're moms and we're mama bears and that's what we're going to do.
We are.
And I'm ready to like tackle anybody who even blinks wrong at my kid. But like, that's not fair for Titus. That's not fair for our kids. So it's just like, we got to dial it back. Dial back our fear just a little bit.
And this journey is a process. Like, we are constantly learning our kids, and constantly, I also feel like it shines a light on us too, like where I fall short. You know, oh yeah, maybe I do have a lot of anxiety. Maybe I am catastrophizing because, you know, why am I thinking, well, when, you know, if I die, like, well, you know what, like, let me stay in the moment and prepare him as much as I can. You know?
Well, that, and I think that fear like stops us from living our best lives as moms, which we still need to live our best lives.
I agree.
And so the thinking, I mean, thinking is healthy and all of that thinking, but it's just like, I just feel that we're learning ourselves too. As much as we're learning our child, and the more we're learning our child, our child is teaching us to learn more about ourselves. Like, we're built for this.
Like, the true lesson is not for the child, it's for us.
For us.
We're the surprise.
Students, they are the teachers, and we are the students. And I'm happy to be Titus's student.
Yeah.
Any day, all day. And I think any mom with kids on the spectrum, like, it is our job to be the best student.
And it's a humbling experience.
It really is.
Because, again, when you had said that if you see someone having like a tantrum or something like that, like before I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's,
like, whoop him.
What is you know, like, get him off of that floor. Like, he's embarrassing you. But now it's just like, I start to think out of the box, and that maybe there is something else happening.
And it's the forcing us to think out of the box.
Yeah.
And honestly, if everybody had a kid with autism, this world would be just
beautiful place.
It would be beautiful because everybody needs something to force them to think out of the box, whether it be an autistic child or a disabled, family member in any other way. You need to think out of the box.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are now, they're young. The 4-year-old has braces because he's a toe walker. Put braces on. He didn't know. Everybody was like, what are those? I go, those make your legs strong. So when he sees somebody who's legless, they're like, he has strong legs. How did he get those strong legs? Like, versus like, oh, his legs are missing. Like, it's the way you think and how you see the situation. And I think it's great. I think we were blessed to have kids on the spectrum. We are actually the lucky ones. I honestly feel that way. The tribe of mothers who have autistic kids, I feel like we're the strongest mothers.
Absolutely.
The best mothers you will ever find out there.
Absolutely.
Not saying anything else against like my mother, because, none of us were autistic, but like we are probably the mentally strongest mothers out there.
100%. I always say we don't know what's going to happen next. Like there's no like, oh yeah, that my child, I didn't know my child is like on PFES now, like just peeing everywhere, but I didn't know that. That wasn't in the cards. But I go right into action mode. Okay, so how can we address this? So when things hit us, it's not like, whoa, we're down for the count. It's like, all right, so what do we got to do?
Yeah.
Like to make this happen.
Yeah. And I think that's the best thing ever. Like just how quick we rebound from situations.
Yes.
When it comes with our child. Like I don't think I would have rebounded from many situations as quickly as I have if I didn't have Titus. And so I'm just like, now I'm just counting all my blessings. Like you are a blessing. The ride that I get to ride with him through life is a blessing. Watching him prove everybody wrong. And that's why I'm like, you're walking out your testimony time. And I tell him all the time, you're walking out your testimony. And I cannot wait for it to just be the walk to be done. And you deliver your testimony to everybody and how many lives it's going to change. Like whether because at first I was like, he has to get healed from autism. Because I do believe God can heal you from everything. And I'm like, but what if it is not his purpose to heal Titus from autism? I said, so it's whether he gets healed, great. If he doesn't, that journey is going to be amazing because I know he's meant to touch somebody's life. And I know he's meant to change somebody's life. And I know if God can heal one person from autism, he can heal my son. But I already told the Lord, I said, and if you never heal him, thank you. I still thank you. Because you gave me Titus, and Titus is mine, and this journey is mine, and it's our family's journey, and we're just blessed to be on it.
Yeah, and that's and again, the perspective and how you look at things. Because initially we can go into that gloom or doom, and my child will never,
and you can stay there and live there, and that's a very depressing
state to be in.
I think you should go through. You still need to go through that process, but get out of it. Give yourself, even if, like, for all those people who are just now finding out their child has autism, you are entitled to grieve a little.
Yes.
If you want, do whatever. But get up out of it. I wouldn't give it more than really 24 to 48 hours to get your ugly cry out the way and everything. And then put on your fighting clothes and fight and advocate for your child. I will advocate for my child. I will advocate for a stranger's child. Right. I am like, I don't care who it is. I want all these kids treated equally. I want them to have the same perks as every other child. I want them to be able to have the same opportunities to do whatever they want. And therefore, I'm making sure my job every day, and my husband thinks, the school thinks I'm crazy, because I'm like, I'm in so much communication. I will pop up. I live 4 minutes from you. I'm coming in. How's he doing? I want y'all to know, and I want anybody who comes in contact with any of my kids to know, I am not a silent parent. I am a very loud and open parent, and I'm here. There's nothing you can do or say to Titus or any of my kids that I won't find out about. I won't, or anything, because I'm very much present. I know.
And that's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Because people take their kids to school and they're like, it's yours, and I'm like, okay. You have them, but they're still mine. So what's going on? How's his day been? Well, why did this happen? Okay. Well, Titus, and if I need to call a parent meeting and have a, ARD meeting, then we're going to have it. I don't care if I just talked to you yesterday. We're going to have it again today, because as I have that right as a parent, these are your kids. So when they go, even when they're in therapy, no matter where they are, you have a right to voice your concerns and have them set up everything again, like to your wishes. Like when it comes to school, if you choose for some odd reason, if you choose to not want your kid in any type of class that helps, their needs when they have autism, and you only want them in gen ed, that school has to put them only in gen ed. It's not what the school says, it's what the parents say. And you sign it in there. I mean, but like if you say, no, my kid, I need them to have, more. If your school, has it available, I want more time with speech. I want more time, in a smaller setting, because that's where they're going to thrive. Even with Titus thriving in gen ed, if I said, no, keep him in comm all day, you're going to keep him in comm all day, because that's what I said, and that's what I'm agreeing on. And if you can't do it, I'll teach these kids at home myself. And I think
that's always an option too, right?
Yeah,
that's always an option.
That's always an option. And so, like, as a mom, like, we know what's best for them. We give birth. We carried them for 9 months. Some people a little bit longer for some reason, and we know what's best for them. So at the end of the day, it is our job to make sure that what we want for them, whoever's care that they're in, understands that and complies with it. And that's it.
That's well said. Well said. I just want to go back. I know you said your second son was diagnosed with sickle cell, and you then went again in that, what did I do wrong? Now, did you stay in it for a long period of time? Was it?
It was shorter, much shorter than Titus.
Okay.
But I remember catching myself every time he would go and he would get sick, and we would have to take him to the emergency room. And they were like, okay. And I'm like, he has sickle cell. He has the SC strand, which is less aggressive. Dad has it. I would go down the history. I would cry. Dad has a C trait. I have an S trait. I knew I had an S trait, but I didn't know Dad had a C trait. He didn't know. And now he has. And I made it like as if the doctor don't know how it's done.
Yeah.
Telling them. And then they're just like, okay, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was my. And then once he's better, then I'm like, okay, we're done. But I felt myself every time, like, because for a while he would go every other week. It was like he would catch something and it would make it worse, and he would have to go get a system flushed and like all that every week. And I caught myself, and I was like, this is good. This is tiring. Just repeating it. And then now, like, if anything happens, we roll up. Yeah, he has sickle cell. That's all I need to tell you. And that's it. And that there's no crying, there's no nothing. I know, but I do know what needs to be done for him. So I guess, so even when it comes to that, like, I made sure I learned what he needs as a sickle cell patient, what works for him, what doesn't work, to where when I go places, I'm like, he can't have that. He needs this. And doctors, I'll tell him, don't give him that. He needs to have this. This is how it's always been. This is what works for him. And I think it's once you get that confidence, like when you decide, okay,
the knowledge,
get this knowledge, and that knowledge is key. And you're walking situations, you're like, I'm comfortable because I know the outcome. I just need you over there who is, licensed to do what you are supposed to do what I need you to do. And I'm telling you what not to do. So it should work out.
So like you said before, going through that feeling, and just kind of trying to figure out, like, how is it serving me? Because you said you were exhausted. Like, it was just very exhausting.
It is draining. Crying is draining. Worrying is draining. Stress
all
is draining. There's no amount of energy drinks that can keep you awake. Like, it's just, so after a while, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
And that is like, well, I can't be my best if I'm not my best. And nobody can make me my best but myself. So
now you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yes, and I work from home.
And you work from home, and you have 4 kids. And I love talking about self-care, badass self-care. Does that exist in your world?
It does exist. So my husband's in Colorado during the week. He comes home on the weekends. When he comes home, I do the mental little checkout of parenting. Found out that I do not call him when I go, like, whether it's to Target. I love Target, so I'll live in Target. I always buy stuff, but even if I don't, I'll go walk in Target for hours just because it's soothing to my soul.
Oh, I love it too. Just the colors, it's airy.
I don't know what it is. I'm like, they put crack in the air. Something. Like, I'm addicted. But, like, and I go get my manis and my petties. And when I go, I was really horrible. I would call him and be like, what are the boys doing? Because I'm one of those, like, I hate to leave my children, but I can't wait to leave them.
Yeah.
But I still call. And I told him, I said, I have to stop calling you, because if I hear something's wrong, I want to come home. And it stresses me that I can't help them in the time period, so I don't call anymore now, which is also a thing that I do. And I just disappear, and I'll be gone for hours, just living my life as if I don't have any kids. And then I come home.
Was there a period of time where there was guilt in taking time for yourself?
Yes, and it's like I didn't stop calling because my guilt, like I would call. That's why I would call.
Okay.
Because I felt like, what are you doing? Let me speak to him. I didn't stop doing that, honestly, till this year.
Okay.
And my oldest is 7. It's been years. I didn't stop doing that. And I don't know what made it click. I don't really know. But I was, because I would feel horrible. I'd be like, well, I should be back home. Like, I would never go on vacations unless I could take all of them with me because I felt bad. Like, I'm supposed to be with them. And I can't. But it's draining. And not saying my kids are draining. Right. I mean, but in a horrible way. But parenting is hard.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And so when dad's gone, it's a lot of taking kids here, there, and then I'm working full time, and then I'm active in church and all the things that I want to be involved in. It's still draining. And then the 2-year-old fights with everybody. So that's just like the crying, and it's a lot, but the only way I cannot go insane is to take that time. Because I'm human. I'm not like, oh, every day is perfect and we're just, no. Some days I'm just like, who made y'all? Why are y'all like this? Like, call my mom. So are the kids, I'm going to bring the boys. We're going to come down. Even when I go to my mom's house, I go into one room. They're yours. If they need me, emergencies, I'm here. But I'm not parenting. Like, if any family comes over, I am not parenting. Y'all, I want everybody to know I don't parent.
I think there's this thing where people feel like you can't be exhausted, as a parent, right? Because you're a parent. I think about when I worked in the hospitals and, nurses are treating multiple, patients, and then they come home. We're okay with, oh yeah, you must have been exhausted. You worked 16-hour shift. Well, we work 24/7.
24/7 shift. I do not get paid overtime. I don't this is just it's a lot of work. And I will say I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, as tired as I get and the breaks I do get, I'm looking forward to their faces. When they're gone, even if I'm home and they go to grandparents for the weekend, I miss the noise. I still cry at dropping them off at grandparents. I miss my babies. They drive me insane, but that's my insane. I like give me my babies. And so I don't feel guilty about, I don't care how, and that's another, I learned to not care about what other people think.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Too.
And once you don't care, almost to a point where my mom's like, I don't know how healthy that is. I just don't care. I don't care how you feel about my parenting. I am their parent. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And they are the most well-behaved kids. They, there's the right amount of discipline, right amount of everything. It's a perfect mixture. That's my parenting. So you're not going to make me feel guilty for enjoying time by myself or what I do with them. I don't mistreat my children or anything, and I will never feel guilty about what I allow them to do or what I do. None of that.
And I think about also, what is the alternative? If you just continue to go, feel like you can't take a moment for yourself for a minute because we should be there over them 24/7. The alternative is, some people would end up in the psych hospital.
That, and then who's going to take care of my kids? I mean, I know who, but no. And then my husband's like, stress is going to kill you if you don't calm down. I'm like, yeah, I can't leave early. No, they're not. No. I need them with, I want to be in their lives. So you have to get healthy. You got it mentally, physically.
I had never went out of state or went anywhere without my kids. Got on a plane without my kids. I was like, we're going to go all together. And during the summertime, I said, because, business, I was like, I'm going to California and stuff like that. And it was hard and I didn't want to do it. My friend was like, just do it. Once you do it the first time, it'll be easy. And so I went, I felt the guilt, but my kids did not even care. I came home.
Not at all.
Hey mom. And I was just like, hi.
I think we care more, but they're living their best little lives.
Yeah.
They didn't care. And I've gone out of country without my kids. And now my thing is I just can't die over here. Lord, if you're going to take me out stateside, not across country, because I need them to have my body, my babies.
Yeah.
But they don't care. I could probably call Titus, who's wherever in New York with his dad, and okay. he won't care. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they care, but like they're just having fun. They're not worried like we are. And well, if you're not going to worry, well then I'm not going to worry.
I know. I was like, am I conceited? Like, you know, because the kids were just like, Mom, so how was your trip? I'm like, you want to see pictures? No. Okay.
Minor, did you bring me something?
Oh, yes, that too.
All right. I see you're using me, but thank you. No, I did not.
Thank you. Thank you.
I brought you me. Here I am.
So, Tiara, you are a phenomenal, badass mom.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're a badass wife.
I hope so.
Business. So, what are your future aspirations for yourself?
So for myself, I always tell people I do want to like, I just need time, like some type to crave out time for it. But I do want to write a book on parenting autism.
Love
But
that.
that's not the title. Just so everybody knows that's not the title. But I have a title in my head. But I do, you know, and just my journey and my family's journey and Titus's journey, like just his, so people can see it through his eyes and stuff like that. So it's almost like a book. I want to write it with my son.
Yes.
And then I also want to get into advocating for other kids because that's my passion. Like no matter who you are, like your kiddos are that's how I treat your kiddos are my kiddos. And so like, yeah, tell me what's going on. Okay, tell me where do I need to step in to get it done, because I don't care who I have to talk to. I don't care who I have to threaten to get it done for our kids. Like that's my passion. That's what I want to do. So in the future, working on that. Like,
well, we're going to manifest that. And I always say, like, why not now?
I don't know why not now. I think I'm just now becoming comfortable like with it to a point. Like I am a lot of our friends and family, I am their go-to, like, hey, my friend just found out, can they call you? Sure. I'll
There are parent advocates out there.
I have it, which I don't have a problem being either. Like I just want us in the autism community to feel comfortable and not feel afraid no matter where you go. I'm in Texas, so if you're in Texas, I'm here. You know, if you need me, I'm here. Wherever you are, I'll come to you. Like I want this life that we were given to live with our kids to be the best. And I don't want anybody on the outside like trying to tell us or do otherwise. No, this is the best. Yeah. And I want that for everybody.
Well, you need to me, hurry up and write that book.
I know. I've actually started a few paragraphs on it and stuff like in my time. So yeah, it's just like I get sidetracked with like the other kids.
Well, life.
Yeah, and life. Yeah. Life is lifing right now. So, but I'm really excited I think it's going to be really good.
So, I definitely, would love to have you come back on and talk about your book.
I would love to.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I need to write some more.
and again, just being an advocate and wanting to help others is huge. Not everybody wants to do that. They get so, my child, and I only have enough for my kids, and I don't have any space for other kids. But that you have that space for it, you would help so many out there. Moms, dads, whoever, grandparents.
Whoever needs me.
Whoever needs,
yes.
You got to find Tiara. And so, what would you tell a mom just getting the diagnosis, or a mom that's been on this journey for a while and that self-blame kicks in? If I would have done this, or I didn't do this, if I wasn't mean to my grandmother when I was little.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
I would definitely tell them the moment you choose and you tell yourself that self-blame ends now is the moment you will actually start living your best life for you and your family. The moment if you tell yourself today, I shed my last tear, I stopped blaming the last, every and anything, that moment, things will start changing. Because all it's waiting for is for you to stop. You can't see what's out there because you're just so blocked by the shades of the blame. Stop promise you. It's literally eye-opening when you stop it. And you not saying you're not going to go back. You may not, go for a little visit every once in a while, which is natural.
Yeah.
Don't live there. Because right now I feel a lot of people have created nice little homes there. And it's if you want what's best for your child, what's best is for you to get out of that so that you can reach your child.
So, well, one, don't live there. And that you command your thoughts, because your
Yeah.
thoughts can affect how you feel, and it can affect how you then behave. And what is that guilt and that self-blame going do? Like, what is it going to do for you? What is it going to do for your
It
child?
kills stuff. It doesn't even help anything grow.
No.
So like it's almost like when it's April, so now people are starting to plant again, and they're getting all the weeds out. That's a weed. It will keep growing like crazy if you allow it.
Yes, whatever you water.
So,
and not saying that it's easy, right? Like, because again, I have moments where that self-blame comes back in, but like you said, you okay, this is what it is. Let me feel it for a little bit, but you gotta go.
And you'll know, like, the moment as it goes on, you'll be like, all right, I know I'm starting to enter that. Let's reroute, and that's all you do.
I love that. Reroute
your
that. Your thoughts are so powerful. I just don't think we realize that, how powerful they are. And, Tiara, I am so happy. Again, listen, she came from Texas.
I did.
All the way to Texas. Oh, my.
I did.
I love that. And I so appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I can talk about this all day. So
I'm telling you, we could go. We could
go for hours.
And again, I'm so excited for you and this book that is going to come out.
Yes.
Yes.
See, all the pressure. Yes.
And as parent advocacy, sometimes we need a little pressure to move, right?
Yes,
I believe in our higher power does that. Like sometimes we got to get uncomfortable.
Get real uncomfortable.
It's an uncomfortable moment, y'all. So with that, again, I just would like to let you know that we are here every Tuesday. I really need you to subscribe to the podcast. Listen, this is not only just for moms, this is for providers, so they can get a better understanding of what we as moms go through, or sending it to someone who just doesn't get it, or just for education and to have a better understanding. But subscribing, you'll get that episode in real time. And again, we're doing this every week, and we have some badass moms coming on with different types of stories, and you're going to hear your story. Guaranteed. You're going to hear your story. It may be a year from now, but you're going to hear your story. So hang in there. And I love you guys. And stay fierce, stay determined, and stay courageous like Miss Tiara.
And reroute your thoughts.
And reroute those thoughts. You have the power.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.